For much of my life, I have always wondered what is the difference between a thriller and a horror movie. I think I have finally found the answer, and that is in the film Green Room, with my favorite actor, Patrick Stewart. I mean, come on, you don't love Patrick Stewart, you're wrong. Now, Green Room is the story of a punkish heavy metal band, death metal band, who takes a really horrible gig out in the middle of nowhere, witnesses a crime, and then gets kind of trapped in the green room, which is a room, not necessarily green, that you basically prepare yourself in before going on stage. I mean, I've been to a number of theaters, performed at many of them. They have green rooms, sometimes they're blue. Yeah, that happens. Anyway, so here's the thing. This movie is a thriller and not a horror film, because while you're watching it, you're absolutely thrilled. You want to find out what's happening next. However, I wasn't afraid that I would accidentally witness a crime and be trapped by skinheads. So that's the thing there. Now, the low part of this film is when one of the characters actually says, "We should split up," which is a horror movie cliche and a terrible one. And yeah, that line just could have been cut out entirely. Beyond that, the weakness of this film remains, it was hard for me to distinguish the characters. There was a guy who was kind of the leader. There was a guy who was the violent one. There was the chick. I mean, I couldn't really get into these characters. I couldn't feel for them because I just didn't remember who they were. They were just kind of there. This is not a bad film. It's not stellar. I mean, I would say if you like thrillers, if you are a fan of the horror genre, for example, definitely go watch this film. It is well made. It feels like an indie film. So if you're one of those people that, you like me, you watch horror movies on Netflix because, God, there's some stinkers on there, you can love this thing because compared to that, that's a really great film. And, you know, I shouldn't even need to say, Patrick Stewart does an excellent performance here. I wouldn't say that this movie absolutely needed a high-end actor like him, but I loved him in it. Definitely did his job well. He commands his group of Nazi shitheads, and the Nazi shitheads are out there doing their thing. He feels a little out of place with his English accent, in my opinion. I don't know. I've never seen a Nazi shithead with an English accent before, so there again, you have to ask yourself, I mean, could he have done an accent for this? He's an actor, he's known for that voice, but I've never seen him try to be somebody else. So I'd like to see that with Stewart. I'd like to see him reach beyond that beautiful voice of his and maybe give us an American accent. I don't know, I've never seen that. I will say that another strength of this film is that they used a lot of jargon, a lot of terminology, a lot of things that I recognize because I know and I've read up on this subject. I mean, like the red laces, for example, is a sign of skinheadism. It's one of those things. Skinheads will wear boots with red laces. So this was part of the film. So when you listen to this film, you really believe that these are people who have their own jargon, who have their own way of speaking, and it is an immersive experience. Again, it was hard for me to feel for the main characters. They're kind of jerks and thieves, but they're trying to get by. I mean, I don't know. If you're a very educated person, you see a bunch of things in this film, you're going to be like, hey, yeah, that's that. Hey, yeah, that's that. If you're not educated and you don't care about death metal, skinheads, or rural America, you may not be able to relate to this as much and you might not care. I don't know. Again, this film is definitely not for everybody. I think it's well made, not as well written as it is made, but definitely a well made film on a budget. That's my opinion. Tell me, in your opinion, what is the difference between a thriller and a horror film? Down in the comments below. Thanks, everybody. I'm Richard.